Hey team, it's time for the shift show, and I really have to rearrange things because that lamp back there cracks me up. There's a gal in one of my networking meetings, and she has a ceiling fan, which I think she calls Gary. So I think this is going to become Larry the lamp. The lamp needs to move. It's very out of context. If you don't know, if you haven't been following along recently, I am in the midst of redoing my office space so that it's a little different. So that's why you see paintings like sitting on top of cabinetry. It's because I'm deciding where I want to put them. So I'm living with them for a while to decide is that what I want in my view or not. And I think what's going to happen on that wall is going to be a giant whiteboard. Another friend of mine calls the whiteboard the wall of pain. So it's kind of holding me off from doing it, but at the same time, the beauty of having a giant whiteboard would be it would help me think and do some things. So that leads me into what I want to talk about today, which is habits. And I am going back and reading. I feel like this is one of those books you read once a year. Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits by James Clear. And one of my favorite quotes from his book is you do not rise to the level of your goals. I'm reading it so I don't forget. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And I bring this up because everything I do with people is around the sense model, sense method, which is sleep, exercise, nutrition, systems, environment. And I primarily work with you on systems and environment is my sweet spot. It's not that I don't know anything about sleep, exercise, and nutrition. I do. I walk that walk. I really pay attention to how much I'm sleeping and exercising and how I eat, which is really important for my brain. Unless you have been following me recently, you probably also don't know that I can't take medication. I'm actually allergic to amphetamines. So taking meds for my ADHD brain is a no go, which is why I have to focus on those three things and make sure that I have everything in my life that's set up. The reason I bring that up is because systems can be put in place for sleep, exercise, and nutrition. Systems can be put in place to help you build better habits. And yes, we do fall to the level of our systems. I've actually seen this happen to me in real life last year where I had a situation with a client where I didn't see an email, I didn't get a notification that he had signed up as a client. And so he didn't get a welcome letter immediately saying, I'm so glad you're here. I did that because I pride myself in doing things very personalized, etc. But I'm realizing now, not now, but back then when this all went down, that I needed a quick turnaround. So the first thing we did was we went back and we reviewed our systems. How are we onboarding clients? And what we found, what I found was I already had a template for a welcome letter. What was personalized about it was me saying some personal things at the beginning, like, I'm so glad you're here. I would reference some things they had learned in our initial consultation, which is called the productivity upgrade. And that's where we assess where your productivity is at and where it's going to go. And what I realized was it's more important to get a welcome note out to people as quickly as possible. You can semi personalize it within an automation in Kajabi than it was to worry about it having a super personal touch because apparently people sometimes buy things on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. And that's great. So do I, not a problem. But they want to hear back. And the fact is that for the most part, I don't really respond to emails on the weekends. Uh, Look, no harm, no foul. I'm really glad this happened. Turned out to be one of my most wonderful clients, truly a great person. I am so glad I've had the honor and privilege to coach with this person. And it gave me an opportunity to look at my systems and make things better, to build a better mousetrap, right? I think it's really important that we take time to step back from our businesses or from our jobs. And I know some of you have jobs where you work crazy hours and this is hard to do, but even if you could take 15 minutes to take a look at one little thing that's not really working right or that you think could be a little better and tweak it and make it better. So that's what this week's shift is going to be, taking a look at one of your systems. I want to show you, just quickly go through a couple other ideas of what systems are so you know exactly what I mean by this. So, a system that I mentioned was client onboarding. That's a very business type of system. Another system might be how you get your bookkeeping done. How do you hand off that information? If you're in a big corporate job, it's turning in your receipts. Do you have a specific time scheduled in your calendar to get that done? Do you do it after each trip? Do you come back and take all your receipts and just immediately hand them in? How do you manage these little things in your days? And when you have a system and you know how you're going to do it, eventually that system becomes a habit, right? Because you do it so many times, you get used to it. One of my newest systems is to do daily meditation. So I've got the Calm app, and my system is to wake up in the morning and do the meditation. And I really should have done some kind of a video with this so I could show you how many times I freaking failed at this. And I'm going to do this in the ADHD focus framework when I run the program, which starts next Tuesday, because I looked back at September, October, November. I mean, like 3 times, 5 times, 7 times, 4 times. Like I just kept starting and failing and starting and failing. And that's okay because that's how you build a habit, right? The other things James Clear says is never miss something more than once. That's not the exact wording he used. Meaning, if you skip working out today, don't skip working out tomorrow because now you're immediately building a new habit, right? The habit of not working out. My habit is to walk with my neighbor. We put in 2 to 3 miles each time we walk. It's a little icy out now, although it seems to be drying up, so it's not bad. But we had a snowstorm the other day. And even though it had snowed and even though it was a little bit icy out, we got out and walked. I will say we didn't walk, but maybe almost a mile because it was a little treacherous out there and it was cold, but we still walked. And that's what's the important part when you're building a new habit is making sure you do a little something towards it each day. So maybe today you feel lousy and there's no way you're going to really get to the gym. Could you do a 10-minute yoga workout so that you're in the habit, right? Our habit is we walk. In fact, we're going to be walking a little early today. So after I finish this video, we're going to go walk. We're walking a little earlier because it's a little colder and it's really sunny. And I think we're just ready to walk. And then I'll come back and do a couple more hours of work. I have that flexibility, which is great. So when you're building a habit, today's little shift is to take a look at a system this week. What's something that you wish was just a little bit better, that you were doing it a little better, that you had a little bit better system for, whatever that system might be? And it might be, I said the Calm app. I have consistently done the Calm app 3 or 4 days this week so far. What's today? Thursday. 4 days this week. So 4 days in a row is the longest I've gone with actually getting Calm app done, doing my meditation every day. I'm really, really trying to stay on a streak and really make this happen. For some people, that might be Duolingo, a way of you learning language. My daughter has some crazy streak with Russian. I can't even guess. Plus, I don't understand a word except das vidanya. So, and Proust, which I think you say when you're drinking. So, vodka. At any rate, let her go save the world is great. God bless the young people. So, as you're making these systems, they can even be things like I'll never forget this one. This one was really hard. I'm supposed to take my statin right after dinner as a meal, and there was no way I could remember it. So, I had to get a new habit of adding it in when I would brush my teeth. So, after dinner, brush my teeth, take the statin, as opposed to bedtime, which is when I would normally take any vitamins, etc., that I normally take. So when you're trying to build a new habit, another little pointer is pair it with something that's an existing habit. You already brush your teeth every day. It's easy to just add on to that habit because that's already habit for you. Okay, shifting this week, and then I'm going to wrap up. The idea is to take a look at one of the systems in your life. It can be personal, it can be business, it can be anything that you use as a system. Getting dressed. Maybe you're going to start putting your clothes out the night before so you're good to go for tomorrow for work so you're not running late. So maybe you're choosing your clothes in the evening instead of in the morning, which means you might be checking the weather so you know what the weather is like tomorrow. And then you could really plan ahead and put an umbrella in the car, right? That's another little system. There are just dozens and dozens of systems we have. And when we have ADHD, systems are mission critical for us. We just run out of energy. We get exhausted and lack focus. So, what we don't want to do is expend that valuable energy on things we could shove a system, put in a system. We don't want to expend lots of energy figuring out what outfit we're going to wear today, unless, you're in fashion design, in which case then it's really important what outfit you're going to wear today. There are people who actually have like a uniform of what they wear. Some people do these really minimalist wardrobes. I love clothes. I have a pretty decent sized wardrobe. I choose my clothes the night before because otherwise in the morning I'm going to be a disaster, trying to figure stuff out in my closet. So this week you're shifting one little system of some kind, or at least exploring the system and looking at it. If you're struggling with this, you have ADHD, you're trying to figure out how to even set up a system or what a system is, you really want to be in my ADHD focus framework course because we do a lot of this in the course. Because it's not enough just to set your goals. You really need to have systems in place. That is at bit.ly, and that's spelled bit.ly backslash AF framework, which is for ADHD focus framework. All the letters are small. I put the link below. I am so glad you're here. And I hope that you find a system this week that you can shift ever so slightly. And if you really want to be awesome and get some accountability for it, put it in the comments and I will come back and check them and ask you how it went. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. Gosh, we're almost done with the week. Weekend.